Hey there, welcome to my first animated movie reviews, and of course, today we are actually going to I'm going to review Batman Year One 2011, which was released on October 18, 2011, directed by Sam Liu and Lauren Montgomery, and written by Tab Murphy, and was based on a comic book a story written by Frank Miller. It's a DC movie, and it's actually my first Batman animated movie that I'm gonna review. And and this is Evo once again, Rainbow McLean for life. So I want to welcome everyone to my review on Batman Year One, and this is actually the part of my story in the Batman series. I decided to review a few animated Batman films, and I'm gonna start with the movie that, in my opinion, started all, which is actually a prequel. It is also the roots of the Dark Knight. It is also origin story at the same time of Bruce Wayne, how he became Batman, and the story of Jim Gordon. So yeah, this is gonna be the first film, the first animated film, which I really enjoy. It's a really good one. Joel Schumacher, he actually wanted to do the film Batman Year One, but it was rejected by Warner Brothers. They said they want a sequel, not prequel. So this could have been a live action movie, live comic book movie, but no. Warner Brothers rejected in favor to Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. They rejected. But I'm glad it was an animated movie. And Batman Year One talks about the first year of Bruce Wayne and Batman's roots, because after 12 years of absence, Batman finally shows up. Actually, Bruce Wayne with the airplane finally shows up, and he goes to Bruce Wayne's mansions, and we see that he finally visits the grave of his parents. In meantime, with the train, Jim Gordon shows up, which is actually his new detective by Gotham PD. He actually was transferred to Gotham City, and we also introduced him into Detective Flash, who becomes Jim Gordon's partner. There's obligations, there's actually accusations about Commissioner Gillian Below that he's a mastermind criminal. He's impressive with Jim Gordon's file, and he goes and he decides, okay, so I'm impressive, so he became his first start, his top detective, and the Detective Flash works with him. In the meantime, Jim Gordon, he's married to Barbara Elaine Keane, and she's also pregnant. She's also pregnant. They're waiting their firstborn child, and while detective Jim Gordon works on a cases, and he finds out he becomes over the first year he becomes the most honest, loyal cop. But Detective Flash, finds his methods that are actually being honest, and that he's not one of them. And there's also the scene in which which is him and a few of the guys, dressed, as a muggers. They go and beat Jim Gordon, But then Jim Gordon gets revenge, and he challenges Flash and fights him off and chains him naked. Of course, Flash does not reported that it was Gordon that did that. In meantime, Selina Kyle, who I forgot the voice who cast her, doesn't matter. Selina Kyle, no, I did. It was Lisa Dushku from Buffy and from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Fate, and from Wrongtura. It was Eliza Dushku who was voicing Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle, she's a petty thief. She's actually the first time introduced when Bruce Wayne shows up, dressed completely some different, mager, and when the pimp goes and harasses this girl, Bruce goes and punches, lights the guys out. And this girl that he tried to protect her, she goes and stabs him, and he goes and kicks her. At that time, Selina shows up and uses martial arts, but she does not defeat Bruce. Bruce been shot and arrested. But Bruce wakes up, because he's been shot. He goes and kicks those two cops, lights out, but saves two of them. And he tries to find an answers in his mansion. He doesn't want to call Alfred, but then he sees the bat that goes through the glass, and he decides that he's gonna turn himself into a Batman, and make fear into the people, that's gonna be fearing him. And that's how Batman, he makes a custom, his equipment, and he becomes Batman. And Batman becomes the major number one vigilante, who goes against crime. In meantime, Selina Kyle, she turns herself into Catwoman. She becomes a cat burglar, and suddenly people are talking that she's actually connected with Batman, that she's his accomplice, and she's kind of mad. But there's also Carmine Falcone, Tom Wilkinson played in Batman Begins. Falcone is in this movie. He's a crime boss, and Commissioner Loeb works for him. And there's also this guy Brandon. He's a leader of SWAT team, tactical SWAT team. There's also a scene when Jim Gordon goes and saves this guy who holds kids as a hostage. Kind of looks like RoboCop, the original movie. He goes and punches those guys, lights out, which is awesome. It was and he becomes hero, and Commissioner Loeb and Flash, they try to get rid of him, but they know how. Meantime, because Batman becomes the fierce vigilante, Jim Gordon, his enemy. He goes and he tries to to stop Batman, and the team, SWAT team gets, because they all work for Commissioner Loeb, they all go, into, they actually all go now into the facility, and they start firing on Batman. But Batman, because Commissioner Gordon says orders in order, they don't go into it, and Batman, they destroy the facility. Batman goes, kicks everyone's ass, and of course Commissioner Gordon becomes now number one enemy to Batman, which is awesome. There's also Vicky Vale in this movie. I think the voice was landed by Gray DeLisle. She voiced Barbara Elaine Keane and Vicky Vale. In meantime, because Batman became number one enemy, in the Gotham, Jim Gordon recruits Detective Sarah Eason, voiced by Kate Sackhoff. Detective Eason and Jim Gordon, they actually both, they get better, and Jim Gordon starts having a relationship with Detective Eason. He has a relationship. He cheats his wife, but then but because the relationship, it doesn't work out, she says that she's gonna ask for transfer, so that she's gonna be transferred somewhere else, you know. So but Commissioner Leap, he finds, they actually found pictures, and they go and blackmails Jim Gordon to stand back, to go back. So yeah, so when Batman goes and and goes and attacks, Carmine Falcone. I think his son. I think the major crime lord. He orders to get revenge. For him, for his well-being into his Jim Gordon. So a few guys, they go and try to kidnap Commissioner Gordon's baby and Barbara, and there's also a scene in which Jim Gordon says, and he admits an affair with Essel, with Detective Essel. Excuse me, but Barbara forgives him because they try to blackmail, they try to blackmail Jim Gordon, but he confessed to her. They get a baby, then the mobsters kidnap the baby, and Jim Gordon grabs, a gun and shoots the motorcycle. Turns out it was Bruce. He was wearing an armor piercing on his chest, and he goes and he saves, the baby. He says Jim Gordon, without makeup, but because of the glasses, Gordon can see who it was, so he tells him thanks, and Jim Gordon now goes and he becomes now commissioner. He goes and he, of course, the all allegations, in front, Commissioner Gillian Belope, they can't touch him, but he makes a fall guy, and that's the Brandon. This guy is a fall guy, goes in prison, and yeah, and that's actually the story. And Batman is now not anymore number one enemy, but actually shows the roots of Selina Kyle, Catwoman. But that's awesome, Yeah, it was written was by Tom Murphy, directed by Samuel Lauren Montgomery. Batman Year One is a good movie. Ben McKenzie, he landed the voice of Bruce Wayne. Ben McKenzie also landed the role of Jim Gordon in Gotham TV show, so that's awesome. Eliza Dushku was voiced as a Selina. Bryan Cranston voiced as Jim Gordon. Kate Sackhoff voiced Detective Essen. So that's awesome. I think that Ben McKenzie did a good job, voice as Bruce Wayne. He did awesome as Jim Gordon in Gotham TV show. Budget was $3.5 million, but made a box office $600 million. There was the 12th film released under the DC Universe animated original movies. John Polito also voiced as Commissioner Gillian Belope. Gray DeLisle, she voiced as Barbara Elisekin and Vicky Vale, which shows that she's a journalist. And Fran Tatasciore was voiced as Detective Flash. Music was by Christopher Drake. And like I said in my first review in Batman, that Vicky Vale is the most underrated character in all Batman history, because every time I watch any movie of Batman, there's always mentioned Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle is way too much in Batman universe, but not Vicky Vale. But yeah, Batman Year One, like I said, Joel Schumacher wanted to do this film. It was rejected by Warner Brothers. But the animated movie was a really good one. Did not read the novel of Frank Miller, Batman Year One, but it shows, it shows what happened in a year, It shows everything what happened in a year, what was in a year, So, yeah. But it actually focused, from January, I think, till I think was till July. I think was till July. From January to July in 1 year. What happened to the Gotham City in 1 year? And also the roots of Batman. I also like the fight scene between Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle that I didn't know him. Like that girl stabs him, and also shows that Selina has a girlfriend, but she's also stealing. But I like the fight scene, Bruce Wayne was really great, when he goes on the street in a makeup and he gets in a fight, and that little girl stabs him, which is awesome. I really like that. But yeah, Batman Year One, I saw it back in 2013. That was 2 years after the release. This is now the second time that I viewed, and like I said, I want to give a proper reviews, about animated movies. I reviewed all the first 4 Batman films, but why not review an animated movie? And this is going to be the first one, which is a prequel and talks the origin roots of Jim Gordon and Batman and Selina Kyle, and Bruce Wayne, who as the bat goes and breaks the glass, and he says, "Thank you, Father, I'll do it." He gives him a sign what to do next. So that was awesome. But anyway, that's my movie review on Batman Year One. Thanks for watching and have a good day. And I'll see you in the next review, in the next video, which definitely is gonna be Batman, another animated movie in Batman. Anyway, bye bye.